Hello and welcome to my video discussing the 3 worst films of the year. It's an inherently negative video, I suppose, and I try not to be negative most of the time, but nonetheless these are popular and common videos for review channels. So I'll briefly talk about the 3 films that I found the most disappointing and not very enjoyable, though I strongly believe that all 3 films will have a fan base, and I already know that some of these films people really like. So it's just my opinion, and these are the 3 films in no particular order. The first one would probably be Eternals, the Marvel film. It got a lot of criticism, and I was somewhat aware of that before I went to go and see it, so maybe that was in my mind, but I felt like the story was too ambitious, a little bit all over the place. I didn't think the CGI was very good, and there was no real lead. The story felt like it was going in every direction and not really getting to a final destination. And it's a shame, because usually Marvel films are really good. I hadn't seen the Scarlet Witch film or the 10 Rings Shang-Chi film, I think that's what it's called. But I watched the Eternals, and yeah, it wasn't very good. So that would be in the top 3 worst films of the year for me. Another film that would fall into that category would be James Bond, No Time to Die. Now, this film has felt like it's been coming out forever, and that's due to COVID and delays, etc, etc. It's the 5th film with Daniel Craig as Bond. It's the last film with him as Bond, or at least his contract's run out and he said he doesn't want to do it anymore. I think he's been saying that for quite a few years, to be honest. So he's now going to move on, which I think is a good thing, because he is a good actor and he should definitely be in films that he wants to be in. That will help the overall quality of the production, in my opinion. The action is really good though, and there are some good one-liners, corny, funny one-liners like James Bond of old, but it's a film that very much relates to the other films, and just again for me, I wasn't a huge fan of those. So this film, No Time to Die, having that relationship with the previous ones, which I didn't really rate or remembered because I didn't think they were that good, didn't help my enjoyment of the film either. But James Bond, No Time to Die, have you seen it? What did you think? Let me know. But like I say, for me it was disappointing, but I was happy at the same time, because I knew the next iteration, for good or for bad, it'll be a different team, same production probably. But anyway, the last film I would say, and I'm gutted to be saying this because I wanted to like this film, this musical, but would be West Side Story. I'd heard of West Side Story, or I was aware of it due to the success of the previous film. I don't know whether that came out in the 50s or 60s, but that film, I knew that was a big success when it came out, and I knew it was based off a very successful Broadway musical. And then I found out as well that it was based somewhat off Romeo and Juliet, and I said in my review how much I admire and enjoy that play, so I was looking forward to it. But I watched it and I didn't find myself enjoying many of the songs, which was a shame. I felt like the narrative was laboured and a little slow in a lot of places, and not as dramatic as it could have been. Though that being said, the dancing and the performances of these different actors was very impressive. I just didn't really take to any of the songs, and I did find it really jarring, the serious nature of the story in that it's about two gangs that vehemently dislike each other because of their opposing ethnicities, and the fact that they're both impoverished and forgotten by the government in this sort of slum area of New York. But that serious subject matter is explored and then stops, and then a singing and dancing number starts that the song wasn't that good, in my opinion. So that just, as soon as I was getting into the film, I was taken right out. And so I'm not a fan of that one, which is a shame. And I actually caught a couple of minutes of the original the other day, and I was saying to my folks who I was watching it with, that Chino, the Chino character looks similar to this Chino. God knows whether it's a relation or not, but the outfits and the songs obviously, but the sort of choreography was very similar. But yeah, not very good in my opinion. So they're the three worst / most disappointing films I've seen this year: West Side Story, James Bond, No Time to Die, and Eternals. I know all three will have a group of people that like them, and all the power to you, but for me, it's a strong no. Cheers.